Everybody. I got the live stream going here. Hello. It is 12:02 on Freedom Friday, Entrepreneur Friday here at the 10K Project. We are so excited to talk about leveling up our marketing. I am here, of course, with my partner in crime, in entrepreneurial crime, Tawana. Hello.
Hello.
And we have Elaine here, who is a marketing expert and also a member of the 10K Project. Hello, Elaine.
Hello, how are you?
Doing good. I'm excited to hear about this topic. I always love all things marketing and how we can bring in more clients and better paying clients and all of that stuff. Before we get started, though, for anyone who is new to the 10K Project, I just want to let you know who we are and what we do. We are the largest community of small dollar investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. So what that means to you is that we do something every week called a Bet on Black pitch. That is when a Black entrepreneur comes in front of our community and they pitch their business for potential investment. And the investments are as little as $100 per person. This is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. And you can find out more about how we operate at the10kproject.com. But we also not only want to educate our investors, we also like to educate entrepreneurs too with regards to how they can start, grow, and buy businesses. And that's why we have this series every Friday. So with that, Tawana, did you want to include anything
Nope, you covered
else?
it.
All righty then. Well, let's just jump in then. So, Elaine, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you specialize in, and how we can level up our marketing. Why don't you take like 7 minutes and just give us an overview, please?
Sure, no problem. Thank you very much for this opportunity to share. So my name is Elaine Miata, and I'm the owner and founder of Miata Communications, based out of Silver Spring, Maryland. I've been in marketing for over 20 years, and what my firm specializes in is providing marketing solutions to small businesses, federal and local agencies, as well as corporations and entrepreneurs. And we do that in a variety of ways, offering a variety of services, everything from helping you with your marketing strategy and plan to helping you implement that. And that can include social media management, website development, public relations, content development, creating marketing materials for you, creating a logo, a brand, a look, and a feel for you as well. And why we try to do all these different things is because we usually find when we start with a logo, it really bleeds into the next step, which is, okay, now we want to get things on some materials and we need to think about the messaging and we need to think about what the website's going to look like. So most of our work just kind of lends itself into doing more for that business. And so what I would say makes me passionate about marketing and why I've been in this field for so long is I really enjoy a challenge. I enjoy helping business owners overcome the number one challenge I always hear is either they don't have the time to market, they don't have the budget, or they just don't know how to market, right? So my goal is to be there as a coach, a mentor, a consultant to help them market their business more effectively and grow it. So they're getting more leads, and those leads are actually leads that will lead to sales, not just leads that will come in and not need their products and services. The number one thing I typically tell a business owner when we start working together is, I ask them a series of questions. I ask them about their products or services. I ask them who their target audience is. I ask them, what their goals are in terms of marketing to get a sense of really what they're looking for help with and how I can best support them. What I find sometimes is some business owners, they might have a great product or service, but they're unclear on their target audience, or they have like way too many target audiences. And so you can't really market effectively if you're trying to reach way too many target audiences, especially if you're a small business or entrepreneur. Your budget isn't going to be set up for that. So I really try to get them to hone in and refine their target audience down to one specific one, because if you start with that target, it's going to branch out and reach others. And the next thing is, sometimes they're unclear of their goals as well. They just say, I want to make money. Well, for marketing, you have to take steps in order to get there. So people have to know about your business first, right? Then they have to be engaged with your business somehow, whether they meet you somewhere, they're following you on social media, they go to your website. They need to know who you are and how to do business with you. And then the other thing is messaging around your products or services. A lot of times I find that some business owners don't have clear messaging, or they have way too many messages. It needs to be simplified and streamlined so that people will connect with it and be able to take the actions that they want them to take. And I hope that was a good overview.
Yes, it was. So, okay, so I always say that marketing is how to get and keep customers. So you talked about a lot of different things. And the first thing is the unclear goals. Like people, sometimes people even come to me and they roughly know what they want to sell, but they don't have a business model or revenue streams or things like that. So tell us a little bit more about your process of kind of helping people discover, how to set up their business and then ultimately how to get those perfect clients to come in.
Sure. So it really begins with, I'll ask them about what made them want to even start this business, right? What gave them this idea? Because I want to get a sense of, what is driving them, because that is really going to be what makes marketing the most effective. So a lot of times what I find is that, they'll say, oh, I happen to do this on the side as a hobby, or I have a friend who told me about it, or they read about it, or they found out about this product and service and they thought this will be a great side hustle, maybe, just to make a little bit of extra income. That's how a lot of small businesses start. It's just people trying to make some extra income. And then once I find out, okay, this is how you started it, what is your vision? Where do you want to take it? Do you see this as just a side hustle? Or do you want to take it to your full time? You have some entrepreneurs who want to keep it as their side hustle. They're very content. They just want to get enough customers to keep it as their side hustle. And then you have others who say, no, I want to go full time on this. So I want to see how I can market more effectively to make this a full-time business. That really drives then the next steps of the strategy, because the strategy is going to be different if I'm helping someone who's just doing it as a side gig versus someone who says, I want to turn this into my full time. And then I also look at what they're comfortable with to a certain sense, right? In terms of what ways are you comfortable, or what ways have you been using to market this business already? That tells me a lot about ways they're comfortable already marketing, and also what's working. What have you found that's been effective with that? The next step will be to think about, okay, those are the things you like to do and that have worked. Now, who's your target audience, and how can we narrow it down so that you're really focused on a core target audience that's going to get you the bang for your buck? And once we narrow down the target audience, then it's looking at where are those people? And where do you need to be marketing to them? And I'll go back to the list to see what that person's already doing and what's been effective and how that meets. But sometimes it means we're bringing in new tactics where we're telling them that, okay, you can keep this tactic, but now you need to add these other ones, especially if you want to build it. And then once we look at that, we really look at your messaging. Are you being consistent? Are you being clear? Is there a call to action? Is there anything that could help you stand out, right? What's your unique selling proposition? What stands you out from the rest of the crowd? Because if you're just saying the same things as everybody else out there, that's really your brand. What is unique about you, and sometimes it's your approach to the product, sometimes or service, sometimes it's the way you interact with people, sometimes it's not even about the person, it's more about the product, right? And what you can do to get that out there. And then finally, once we've narrowed down that and we've gotten to the tactics, we look at how can we evaluate this so that you can know what's working, what's not working, and how we can consistently tweak and make it better. But I think the core piece is getting that brand unique selling proposition right and your target audiences right, and then those tactics. Because if those three things aren't working together, then everything else will kind of fall apart. You can have a great logo, you can have a great website, you can have a great all this, but if you don't know who your target audience is, know where they are and how to reach them, and know what to say to them to move them to action, all of that is moot.
Yeah, I love that. So I will tell you a personal story with regards to my business. And that is that you have to test different things to see what's going to work. And you can't be afraid to lose money in the process. Now, I'm not saying spend $10,000 to find out something doesn't work. That is not what I'm saying. But I have spent, for example, hundreds of dollars to discover that something doesn't work. So in my business, and many of you know I'm a business plan writer. If you're new to this, I'm a business plan writer by trade. No matter what I do, I've tried a ton of different marketing tactics. The two things that consistently work, LinkedIn and YouTube. I don't know. We tried Facebook ads. I thought maybe I didn't hire the right Facebook ad person. So we got somebody else and, all sorts of other stuff. I'm sorry, and Google search engine, SEO as well. So sorry, I have to say three things, but that seems to be it. And sometimes I would love to get your thoughts on this. Sometimes you test different things, you discover they don't work, and you do go back to, okay, let's maybe dig deeper into the things that are working or that do work versus trying to spread out. And I'd love to, again, get your thoughts with regards to that.
Yeah, for me, I definitely let people know that we are going to try some things that are going to be great and effective, but we're also going to try some things that we may find aren't as effective. It is about, I'm so glad you said that, because some business owners, they look at other people on social media doing really well with a product or a service, and they say, well, why can't you do like that? And because that person has their niche, they have their brand, they've established themselves. But here's the thing I like to remind people, most of that is not overnight. It takes months, weeks, some people years before they build their brand to the point where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars off social media. So I think we get stuck sometimes in this quick fix marketing. Like, I can follow some trend in marketing that someone else is doing, and all of a sudden my business is going to sell $1 million worth of products in 24 hours. And what I tell people is that person who did that was in business for years before that happened. And you're just starting the business. So yeah, we have some flukes that start a business and it goes great. But what I want people to really focus on is learning from each tactic, learning from each experience, determining, okay, this didn't work. Why or why not? How can we further refine it? Did it not work because of our messaging? Did it not work because the target audience that's there doesn't have the income or doesn't have the need or whatever? Did it not work because maybe of timing? You know, it could be the season of the year that you're launching your business, right? And I get this all the time. You know, you want to launch your business, you're selling sweatsuits, and, you know, you wait to get to me till September. And it's like, well, the stores already have sweatsuits in them, and all the sweatsuit vendors have already out there, you know, promoting their sweatsuits. So people really have to plan. And that's why I always start with a marketing plan with folks. I know people want to skip that and okay, just give me a website, just help me with social media management. I always try to get them to step back and say, let's do a marketing plan. Let's really, really take time to ask the questions and get down to the nitty gritty so that when we're evaluating your marketing efforts, you feel better equipped as we were evaluating things to go back and say, well, maybe I was wrong about this target audience, or maybe I need to refine this message, or maybe, you know, I'm not as unique as I thought I was, which is fine. There's lots of companies that just, you know, hey, we're selling socks. That's what we're doing. People need socks, right? But then where do you find those people that need socks that are going to buy them consistently, right? So I tell people all the time, if you don't want to spend money on marketing, then perhaps you don't want to have a business, because it is a necessary expense. And spending money on marketing, by the way, is also your time. So if you're marketing your company, that's money spent. If you take time and write down how many hours you're spending every day or every week or every month marketing your company, multiply that by your rate and determine how much you're already spending on your marketing, and see if you can take that money and get a coach or consultant to help you with your marketing efforts.
Yeah, I love that you talk about the marketing plan as really the first step, because, you know, as we're in this day and age of technology and social media, and, you know, everyone and their grandma does marketing these days, right? At least they claim to be able to do so. You can get very distracted with the trends and the hype that you see out there. So having that plan in advance and following it, even if you revisit it to tweak here and there, you're not getting super distracted by all of these things that may or may not benefit you and or cost you more money unnecessarily. So I love that you start with that foundation.
Yeah, and it's okay to hop on trends if they're a good fit for your brand and your business. And you'll know that if you have a plan. It'll be easy to tell which trends make sense for your business. But if you don't have a plan and a clear, unique selling proposition, clear messaging, clear target audiences, then you might just hop on any trend that comes along thinking it's going to help your business. And then when it doesn't, you get frustrated. You start blaming, the customers, you start blaming everybody, instead of really what I try to get business owners to do is be introspective and think about what you can do differently. Because yes, sometimes the issue can be that customers just aren't buying. Like in the pandemic, there's been customers just can't afford certain things, right? So maybe you're marketing it differently. Maybe you're looking at offering a discount. There's things that you can do as a business owner to market your business when you're facing a slump. But then again, you're not going to know that without an already written plan and looking at those tactics that are really effective. Because it might be that you say, okay, instead of doing these 3 or 4 things to market my business, I'm going to go down to this one thing that I know is really going to work to reach those customers that are still going to spend money.
Yeah. So I would like everyone to put in the chat what your business is and if you are making revenues or not. And if you're not making revenues, if you're a startup or you're thinking about something, that's fine too. But we got Elaine here, so we want to give her some real life examples. But Elaine, I do want to ask a question as everyone is putting in their businesses in the chat here. And that is, how do you know when marketing is not working versus you're not working it properly, consistently enough, etc.? How do you gauge that?
So that's where really having those SMART goals comes in place. So we want to make sure when we put together those goals, and I'll just give an example. Let's say you're hosting an event and you say, okay, the goal of this event is, we want to reach moms between the ages of 35 and 45. And we want to host a small event of 50 people. So our goal through our marketing is to get 50 women to sign up for this event, right? And these are the tactics we're going to use. And we may even break down that goal. Let's say we have 3 months to market it, right? We may even say we want to get 15 women to sign up each month. And maybe we may say we even want to have a waiting list. We don't want to just get those 50, right? We want to have a waiting list. We want to be able to bring other women in if women cancel or can't make it or whatever. So once you have that goal, let's say we say in 2 weeks, after the first 2 weeks, we're going to evaluate where we are. And if we've gotten, so if we're trying to get 15 people in that month, and let's say in 2 weeks, we've only gotten 2 people signed up, we're behind on our goal, right? So we may look at the metrics. Let's say we're using social media, your website, and I'll say we're using postcards, mailers, right? We're sending them out or we're giving them to these mom groups, right? We're going posting on mom groups and social media about this event, but only 2 people have signed up. Now, there's a couple factors at play here. The event is 3 months away, right? People usually wait till the event gets closer. So you may want to say, well, we'll change that goal for the first month. Maybe the first month we only want to get 10 people. Then the second month we want to get 15, but the bulk of our people are going to come in the last month. So it's really understanding how to plan and manage and strategize around your tactics. Now, if you know you haven't posted about the event in any of the mom groups, you haven't sent out any postcards, you haven't done anything on your website to promote the event, then you know you're not working the plan. And typically each week, there are going to be certain tasks you're going to need to do to work the plan. And of course, it may start out like that first month, but as time gets closer, you're going to be doing more and more. So A, you're going to be looking at, have I done all the tasks that I need to do? And B, you're going to be looking at if most of my leads are coming through social and these postcards aren't working, well, maybe I'll just put more energy into social and less into the postcards, or, more into the website and less into something else. But really understanding what's working and how that, people sometimes come to me and they say, well, I just want it now. They don't understand that it takes time to build things up. And some people may say, well, 3 months ahead to market an event. Sometimes that's what's needed. And that's my ring.
So Elaine, I have a question. So you're probably one of the few people I've talked to that has actually done marketing as a career for 20 years, over 20 years. A lot of people have just started doing it.
Mhm.
How do you find the technology that's available now? Do you find that it is much more helpful in the mission of marketing success, or do some of those old school tactics still work?
It can be very, very helpful, but it can also be very, very distracting. I've found that sometimes, um, I love social media. I love the web. I love all these new ways you can reach people. But it's also very frustrating because sometimes people think if I have 1,000 followers, that means these 1,000 people should be buying my product, right? Or these 1,000 people should become brand ambassadors for me, or should be doing this, or should be doing that. And it doesn't always work that way. So one of the things I try to caution people is, yes, it's simpler to market in many ways, but it's also more complicated, because that's why I go back to the plan, right? If you don't have all that already together, then you can really run the risk of making some big mistakes. And actually, I think that's my daughter. So I'm going to run down and answer the door. Sorry.
Okay. So, Tawana, we've been, of course, working with a couple of different groups over the past 3 years with marketing. I've been obviously in business with my mother and then myself for a long time. What have you found? Because you're newer to entrepreneurship, what have you found or discovered has been most helpful in your journey of understanding marketing?
For me, it's truly about those realistic. It's funny that Elaine mentioned the SMART goals, because for me, that's really what it's about, right? Having that realistic expectation of what can be, right? Because I talk about the distractions because it's easy to get distracted. You see those groups out there and they've got, 1 million followers. And to the outside looking in, I love that Elaine just said what she said also about who's really engaged, right? Because they've got 1 million followers, but they may only have 1,000 people that are engaged, and you don't see that part of the business, right? The world only sees the 1 million followers, and they think, oh, these people they've got it made, right? Because they're not publicizing open rates and click rates and all of those things that we know are very, very important. Not just how many people at some point in time had an eye on your project, right? Who's engaged, and so for me, it's really been helpful to learn all of that, but to understand that it is a process, and to also be it's a process where patience is required, because the overnight sensations are far and few between. They are not the norm. And social media would allow you to believe something differently, but they are not the norm.
Yeah. And
Or,
that's an
the
important
people who
conversation.
attract.
That's an important
Yeah.
conversation to have with folks, because I think a lot of times somebody can make it look so easy. And I know there's a lot of these marketing programs out there where they'll say, use my strategy to grow your business, right? And you'll attend these free trainings, right? And usually in these free trainings, they give you the roadmap. But I found 9 times out of 10, these business owners don't follow that roadmap, right? So they get upset, because also with these free trainings, then they sell you other things, right? So you have to buy this bundle and you have to buy this. And so with a free training, they'll have spent $1,000 and they won't see the return on their investment. And by the time they come to me, they're frustrated, they're tired, they've spent all this money learning all these tactics that haven't worked for them.
So we have a couple of people in Facebook, actually. So the first is Lisa. Lisa has a mobile notary signing business.
Nice.
So with regards to that, how can Lisa level up her marketing?
Oh, wonderful, Lisa. That is a great business. I actually have had issues finding a notary when I've needed one. And most people go to their banks or places like that. I think a great way for you to market your business is definitely social media. And I would look for groups of business owners, because business owners often need those notary services. Think about the types of businesses that use notarization, whether it's real estate, titling. I would really focus on, maybe pick one type of business, right, that you want to focus on and grow your business, and find Facebook groups that these people are in. Definitely, I recommend LinkedIn. For this type of business, LinkedIn, any B2B service, I find LinkedIn to be like the #1 way to market. I tell people who have service-based businesses, start at LinkedIn with social media. If you're not comfortable with any of the other social media platforms, start with LinkedIn. Start with the connections that you have. Ask them for advice. Ask them to connect you to people who may need your services. Referral business is some of the best business you'll get, and you'll find that that will grow your business really quickly if you're smart about the type of referral business that you take. But I would say for that, focus on LinkedIn, look for groups of business owners. You could even say, I'm going to focus on one type of business owner. I'm going to make that my niche, and I'm going to speak directly to their needs. Do they need it fast? Do they need you to come to them? Do they, what is unique about what you do? When you said mobile notary public, I was like, that's great. Because if I'm at home filling out this paperwork, I may want somebody to come to me and notarize it really quickly, or meet me at the post office, right? Because I need to drop it off and get it somewhere by a certain time. So I would focus on, what are the pain points you've heard from people that are already using your services? Why are they using them? Are they using them because they need someone to come to them or meet them somewhere, or it's time sensitive? And then take those pain points and put them into actionable messages that you can post on LinkedIn or elsewhere.
And I'll add in as well. So I was reading this article this week, and it was talking about how technology is taking over the marketing world. However, there's this untapped market, or this marketing of billboard usage that's declining across the country in some cities. And so when I hear her say mobile, I think local, right? And so billboard would be a perfect opportunity for local advertising. And according to this article, you walk into the space thinking it's going to be very expensive, and it's really not. Like a few $100s can get you some ad time on a billboard. If you have a busy intersection or a busy area, you may be able to hit a lot of people. But I thought that was interesting because, again, I'm old enough to be comfortable in the tech space, but I know what it's like to have a phone on the wall in the kitchen, right? And so I like to go back to some of those old school techniques,
yeah,
because they worked for so long. And when I was reading this billboard article, I was like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. But we're also tech, that now you've got, hundreds of thousands of billboards across the country empty, was what the article was talking about. No one's using them.
And, one of my favorite ways to market is really looking at the organizations in your community. If you're a local business, are there organizations in your community? And this is something interesting that you never think about. Let's say you want to target nonprofits for that mobile notary service, right? Join nonprofit organizations. People in your business line may not be doing that. You may be the only person who is there marketing that type of business. Think about unique ways that you can reach that target audience that you're trying to reach. Yeah, you may have to pay a membership fee, and but you may also find a whole new market for your services too by joining an organization that says, hey, we've been needing this service, as doctors or as lawyers or as whatever, and nobody joins our organizations and markets the service to us. That's a unique way that you can think about it. I know that organizations aren't meeting in person anymore. Another thing you may want to think about is joining your local BNI network. With BNIs, only one person in each category of business can be part of a group. And typically with BNIs, they help refer business and share business contacts and basically help each other grow their businesses. That can be a great way, since you're a very local business, that can be a great way for you to grow your business.
My mother grew her business through BNI. I'm a huge BNI fan. And I will say to Lisa as well, the fortune for you is in the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up. It's not enough for you to, speak with somebody one time and then never speak with them again. So if you're the person who naturally is good at keeping up with the contact list and pinging people every 30 days, great. If not, if you need that reminder, that trigger, then the organization idea that Elaine had is probably better, and go to everything.
Yeah.
So when we got started with our business, I was helping my mother with her marketing for the bookkeeping. And what we discovered worked best was I ended up joining two organizations, and only two organizations, our local chamber and a BNI. Yeah, those two. And I went to everything that those two organizations had. If it was on the schedule, I was there, because bookkeeping it requires a lot of trust, because people are giving you their financial documents. Mobile notary is like a step above that. Like, people still need to trust you because you're probably going to be notarizing stuff that's still sensitive, right? So you want people to see you all the time as well, where they're like, oh no, we know Lisa, she's good people, she's not gonna see my social security number on a document and run off with it, etc. So you want to think about that as well.
Yeah.
We've have a couple other people. We have one other in Facebook, Crystal, said putting the marketing budget together is the most challenging thing to do. And I think that is that's a fair question. So how do you respond to Crystal about the challenge of putting together a marketing budget?
So that is where also I go back to the plan. If you have a plan, the budget is part of the plan that we put together, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I always do once we've done the plan is, once we get through everything, then we look at how much is it going to cost for each tactic. And we can break that down by month. And that can also depend, if you're a seasonal business, you may spend more during a certain portion of the year and less during other portions of the year. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't know what different tactics you need to think about, and if you don't know where the money's going, then you kind of are lost. Like, you may be spending X amount on memberships, right? X amount for your website. And yes, your website, your hosting costs, all of that is part of a marketing budget. Your business cards, all of that is part of a marketing budget. When I did a marketing budget for somebody and I put in there the collateral, and they were like, well, I just look at that as a business expense. I said, no, that's marketing. That's part of your marketing budget. And if you don't have it in your marketing budget, then what's going to happen is, let's say you decide not to just do business cards. Let's say you decide to do billboards, as we just talked about. Those have a printing cost associated besides the ads and the placements. Now, they do have electronic billboards now, which make it much easier, but you can factor that cost in to your marketing budget early on, and okay, this is how much I need for this quarter. This is how much I need for the next quarter. And we can look ahead. A lot of times I find that business owners are behind the 8 ball because they're so busy trying to manage their business and do the marketing. And so what I tell them is, if you just free up a little bit of your time and let somebody help you with the marketing, what you'll find is you'll have more energy to focus on the business aspect, and that'll actually help with the marketing of your business.
So then that segues into something that was put in the chat. Ms. Vivian put in here, the person behind the marketing is very important with regards to integrity, timeliness, et cetera. So how does somebody evaluate a marketing professional?
I would definitely ask for references. Do some folks offer a free consultation. See how comfortable you feel with them. Ask for references. Ask for samples of work they've done related to the same type of things that you're looking for. I provide, usually after or before I meet with somebody, I'll send them links to websites we've done, social media, graphics, whatever it is they're looking for, I'll send them something. The only thing I really don't share is the plans I've done for other clients. But I'll share what I can with them, and then I'll also provide references. And what I look for sometimes is it a good fit for me too? Because, they may have a specific challenge that maybe I can't take on right now, or that I would refer them to someone else that I think would be a better fit. So I think it's really looking at, is it the right fit? Budget is definitely always a concern, but don't always go for the cheapest. The cheapest is not necessarily always the best. Look at their years of experience. Sometimes I know there's a lot of people out there now that are offering marketing consulting. And they're offering it really cheaply and it sounds wonderful, but if they can't show you ROI and what they've done for other clients, and they're just offering you a low fee, that's just not enough for me. I think you investigate this like you would any other service for your business.
Tawana, do you have any final questions for Elaine?
No, just thank you so much, Elaine. This is always great information. I mean, even for us to use here at the 10K project. So thank you very much.
Yes,
absolutely. So we have in YouTube, we have Blossoms event. Oh, hey, how you doing? In Annapolis, saying great networking group. So BNI,
yes,
great networking
BNI
group.
is awesome.
So, yeah.
And definitely, anyone who's on who would like to reach out to me just to chat or to ask some questions. And if you have any specific marketing needs, I'd love to chat with you. I love connecting with other business owners anyway, just to learn about different types of businesses. I was a part of the Maryland Black Chamber of Commerce, and one of my key passions is helping Black business owners connect and be able to sell and become successful. So even if you just want to connect to say, hey, I have this business, it's interesting to me how sometimes you meet somebody one day and the next day somebody asks, do you know someone who does this? And so, just connect with me and introduce yourself.
Elaine, can you put your information? Oh,
yeah, people are asking for that.
And please excuse the background noise.
Oh, that's fine. Look, we all have background noise. So can you put your website in there as well? I'm going to put it on our YouTube and Facebook groups.
Yes. You want to be part of
my
meeting?
Yeah,
are you already in the
come here and say hi to the people.
The skills database, the directory on the Knowledge Center? Hello.
Hi, this is Zahir, my grandson. He wanted to join the meeting.
Hello, Zahir.
Oh, we love it. Future 10K member. We love it.
Right.
Yes, we're already working. We're teaching them entrepreneurship now. So they're learning early.
That's it. That's the way to go. Elaine, make sure you have I was going to say, I want Elaine to make sure she puts her information. You said she was a member. So we want to make sure she's got all of her contact information in the Knowledge Center so that the community can find you, because we know the marketing is a big piece of success. So
yes,
we want people to get good help.
Definitely. Say hi, Zach.
Hi.
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
How are you?
Paint my face.
Zach wants to paint his face.
Oh, that sounds like so much
Oh.
fun. Oh, I wish I could come do it with you, Zach.
You want to paint that? Okay. Can Mimi finish her call?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
But
We
yes,
love
this
the kids
has
here.
been wonderful, and definitely put my information in the Knowledge Center. I'd love to connect, and I will do a little tip sheet also for the Knowledge Center as
Yeah, that would
well.
be great. Yeah, just email it to me. We'll make sure to get that in there as well. So, all right, everybody. Well, this is the end of our session here. You know, marketing is such an important part of business in order to grow. So we always like to have people like Elaine come on and tell us how to do that. Her company is mayatacommunications.com. mayatacommunications.com. And we put that into the chat on YouTube, Facebook, and here in Zoom for you. Also reach out to Elaine on LinkedIn as well and connect with her there. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great weekend and we will see you on Monday. Take care.
Bye,